Hi everyone. Good evening everyone. Can we hear me? I hope we're doing good. I hope we're doing fine. How was our how was our break from Wednesday till today? I hope we've been able to try some things out with design. All right. It's good to see us again. It's good to know that we are following this design journey and we are following it seriously. It's good to also see some of you drop by my LinkedIn to ask me one or two questions. And I hope that I've been able to answer to the best of my understanding. So, once again, good evening, everyone. Looking back at what we studied last week, we looked at designing for low fidelity diagram. So what we just did was we designed for lo-fi wireframes, and today we're going to be dealing with high fidelity. But before we delve into high fidelity, I discovered we didn't work on the desktop frames. That's for websites, designing for websites. So what I did as my own assignment, sort of, was to create a website design, low fidelity as well. So while you guys were trying to, create your own low fidelity to try to practice, what I did was I created a wireframe, a low fidelity wireframe for websites. But then I know it will not be so good for me to just create that design without, showing you guys one or two things on low fidelity wireframe for desktop or for websites, you understand. So what we'll be doing now look into um is to look into the sketching of wireframes for desktop, and then what I've been able to do so far for wireframes. So please, if you can present my screen so that everyone would see what I have here. Yeah, thank you very much. So from this place, we're still, don't worry about what's up here. Don't worry about this pure honey. So we're still dealing with the same thing we've done. We have the sketch of logo, right? Sorry, the sketch of our litafa right here. But then I also now thought of it to say, what if we were to build a website for Litafa? How would it look like? What would we do for the website of Litafa? So you have something like the home page here, and then what you would see here would be maybe, now let's try something out. Let's see if you guys can, if you ladies can see what I have on this design. So I'm just going to, make it bold to the point where you are not seeing any other thing apart from that. So what we have here is on the first side where you can see my cursor, we have something like the logo. We would have maybe some, one or two links at the navigation section, and then we would have the button for someone to click on if he probably wants to do, if the person wants to download our application, because what we are building for our application is basically just for phone mobiles. So even if we were creating like a website for us where people can easily see us, I would say that for Litafa, maybe we are creating a landing page, a place where people can really find us on the web, and then they can click on our call to action button to download our application and then make use of our application. So this button is, to tell them to download. We have our content in these three lines over here. We have an image on the right, an image on the left. We have a place where you can enter your phone number. So you just write enter phone number here, and then this is the button, or sorry, this is the input field for entering your phone number, and this is your button for download. From there, we have brands that maybe, support us. So for example, we can put a brand like Incubator Hub. We can put a brand like maybe the Redeemed Christian Church of God. We can put another, all the brands that support Litafa, we'll be putting them in this place for brands. Then maybe there'll be another content here, maybe for what we offer. So just a little content that talks about, or that introduces what we offer. Then there is an image here, talks about the first thing we are offering you, another image on the right hand side, and then what we are offering you on the left, and then a third image on the left hand side now, and then what we offer you. Then maybe what our customers are saying, or what our students are saying on App Store, on Google Play, what is our rating, and then a video that talks, maybe Moreni KG has said something on a video, and then we just write maybe Moreni KG's headline thoughts, and then Moreni KG product design, and then what else again? A button for going to the back, a button for going to the next, and then maybe this place is, let's say, another content for subscribe. So this place will be for your subscribe, and then you now have like an image down here. I didn't even remember that when I was designing. So an image down here, and then your logo again and your footer. So that's what we had there. And then this was what I created for the home page. Now look at it. So we have the same thing now for your low fidelity. You have the logo, you have your navigations, your link for navigations, you have your button here, maybe your content, enter your phone number. I've given the example of phone number you can enter, and then your button. So maybe your brand, maybe you just put something, very catchy here, and then you have your brand, logos right here. Something to introduce your services, the image for your service, and then the write-up for your service. Then maybe another write-up for another service, and then the third write-up for the third service. So from there now, you have a little bit of write-up again, and then you have like your App Store rating, your Google Store rating. Then maybe you have like an image here. Now, most of these designs here can be done in different ways. You can decide that I don't want maybe a video, customer, what customer says. Maybe I don't want a video. Maybe I want just a text and an image representation. So you can put a text and an image representation, whatever works for you, right? But I just brought this to show you that your customer, what customer says about you, your customer rating can be done differently. You can look at other applications and see how other applications, have designed their own what customer says about them. You can look at other places. So I remember that there is supposed to be an image here, which is why I can quickly do that, and then you just watch how I would design that. So right now I'm elongating my design, my desktop design screen, and then I'm looking at where I want to put the image. So I think I've created a good space for my image. What I want to now do is get my rectangle. So my rectangle is probably just filling this entire, let me look at it again. All right, so my rectangle is filling this entire board, this entire sheet. So that means the image I'm bringing in is probably going to just fill this entire space, the image for subscribe. And I think it's starting from the middle of subscribe. Yeah, from the middle of the button. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to send this to the back. Yes, so send to back here. And then I'm going to kind of reduce, like intensify the color, but I don't want it to be too dark so that it doesn't cover the subscribe button. Yeah. So let's make it as dark as this. Close that, and then I can bring in my line to show that this is an image, so that I don't forget the way I forgot it earlier when I was designing to present this. All right, and that's that. Now I can bring my footer back up. So let's bring my footer back up, and let's make it a good space between them. So let's see, let's make it a 120. That's good. And then I can close back this gap I have here. So let me close the gap, and then I can shut this off. All right, so I've been able to add my image to this design the way it was here. This stuff here, just shows the image, and then this down here is the footer. So you can do the same thing for about lemfi. So sorry I said that word. This was something I copied from somewhere, so that I can always use that to check back to that website to see how that design, was placed. So we have this, and of course, we talked about getting inspiration. So I used that website to look for something nice, and I mean that website really showed me something good. So I just kept that name there so that I can always remember that. Now they have like a mission and a vision. I also made some very, very minimal changes there. And then from there, I was able to see, okay, this is how I want my own mission to look like. This is how I want my own vision to look like. I can decide to say, who are we? I can decide to put who are we here. I can decide to say what we do here. And then I can decide that my mission is going to be like this. My vision is going to be like this. And then what else again? Our team members. So I can decide to bring in my team members. If I'm bringing in my team members, let me copy this headline. So right click and then copy. Now come to this page and then paste here, right? So I'm hoping that we still remember some of the things we were taught in the last class. Now from here, I want to make sure that it is in the center of my page. Yes, and then the distance between this design to the top, let's make it a 120. All right, great. I'm thinking 240 would be okay, but let me confirm something. Let me confirm this. Yeah, this is 240 I used here. So let me do the same here. And 240. Okay, so from there now, I can decide to bring in maybe some this kind of text. So let's duplicate this, Control D to duplicate, and then I'm dragging it out. But I noticed that I mean this is coming in the alignment of this text is centralized. Yeah, so I want to do the same thing to this because this is looking left aligned, and I want consistency in my design. So I am centralizing this, and of course my users will not read all of this very long text. So I'm trying to see how I can make it a very short one so that my content writer can also see the text and then not look for something very long to write there. Now distance between this, let's make it a 24, and then let's continue designing. Of course, you remember we are working with the 8th grid with the 8th grid style, with the 8-point grid. So most of what I'll be doing, I'll be working with the 8-point grid system. So centralize this as well so that we don't have an issue. Now I'm bringing in my image. So an image is going to be here. Get my rectangle. I'm thinking of using, maybe let's look at 4, or let's say we are bringing in 4 images. So if I'm going to calculate 4 images, this is a 12 column design. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, which means that 12, if I'm bringing in 4 images, I'll be using 3 columns each for my image. That's just the little mathematics that I can read there. So let's work that out. And then I'm using my grid to find my lines and check everything out. Let's make this 72. Of course, 72 has its grid system as well. Yeah, it's following the 8th grid system. Now let's make this aligned to the left back, and then I think we'll just use one line here. So delete this text. In fact, you can just write name of the person and position. So this name is going to be bolder than this. So I'm going to my typography. I'm choosing semi-bold for this name. Let's make sure it's 32. Okay. And then if I duplicate this, bring it down here. Hold on. Let's centralize this. Or let's just continue typing name of team member. Just say team, and that's that. Now I'm reducing this to a 24. Let me just work on this, then I'll come meet you guys to see if you guys have a question. So if you have a question, you can quickly start writing your question so that when I come back to the page, I will be able to see your questions. And I hope you guys don't bombard me with too many questions so that we can, rush to what we have today. So this is name of team member and then position. I'm putting these two in an auto layout, and then what I will just do now is duplicate. So pick this, duplicate, and then drag out to make sure that it covers the next line and that it is aligned. Can you see how the red line is showing? It's showing now that it is aligned. Now my beautiful duplication just works for the remaining parts of my design, and that's that. So now you have like, somehow safe, I'm feeling like I'm not true. So I can make these four images like really dark. Yes, so make them dark colors, and then my line, so that you would see that it's an image that is there. Yeah, Control Z, I'm sorry. So get a line, yes, and then put the line over it. So that is the first line, and then you can get your line again, then. All right, great. So what I want to do now is I want to frame it like we did the last class. So frame selection, and now I'll just paste to replace. So copy it, copy, then I would pick the remaining three that maybe, I didn't really work on, or I didn't make as sweet as this. And then I'll just right click and say, sorry, select the three of them, right click, and then say paste to replace, and you see that the line is now there. So that already covers it. Now we can continue by, let's say we've done team members now, so these are our team members. Now we can bring in maybe like something that someone said concerning, maybe no, not what, okay, maybe something that our CEO of Litafa, what the person is saying about Litafa. So we can just bring these two write-ups, duplicate this. Of course, you know that as a designer, repetition is part of the principles of design. So what you are going to be doing most of the time is that you'd mostly be repeating a lot of your designs, yeah? So you'd be repeating a lot. You would be repeating a lot. Now let's see. Okay, I'll just do this. Let me align the two to themselves. Align, yes, beautiful. Now, while I've aligned that, still align this as well. And let's see how this can sit pretty. Okay, that's very good. This is good to go. Now, yes, I don't want it to hit the beginning of the margin. So let's leave this here. Let's try to close this gap up. Right, great. Now I can bring in like same thing I did here where I did a video stuff. So I'm just going to duplicate that. Or if someone is confused as to, oh, how did Esther, create something like this kind of video stuff, so that I don't have to, stress myself. Now, first thing I want to do is I want to get my rectangle. Yes. So I get my rectangle. I draw my rectangle to cover these 6 columns, and then I elongate it. Yeah. So when I'm done with that, of course, you know that we can give it a corner radius of, let's say, 16. Okay, that's good. Now darken the image, or intensify the dark part of the image. Intensify it to as much as you want to. And then when you are done, just get your rectangle, your polygon, put your polygon here, and then you can either, turn it to wherever you want to turn it to, but just have like a straight line on a place, yeah. And then corner radius 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'm looking for the best corner radius. I think 16 would work for me. And while I'm done with that, still try to straighten it. I'm not sure it's really straight. All right, yes, this is good. And then from there, what do I do now? I make it like really bright. So because this is just design. And I mean, you can leave this as, let's reduce this 100 by 100 to, let's say, 80 by 80. 80. Oh, no, 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 no. Then that means you reduce the corner radius to something like 8. Yeah, perfect. And that's it. So centralize the two of them, put both of them, at a good central focus. Yes, and you are good to go. So you can do this, and this can either say that maybe a video of what the person said, or maybe you just even want an image, you don't want a video. So let's delete this. Now, if you want an image, if it is just the image of your boss that will be here, you can do what we did in the first instance where you want to put an image, and then you can drag the line to each corner of your design. So that's that. All right. So this already just talks about how you can do like a design on your on a desktop as well. So we run the design first on your home page and then your about us page. So this is my home page, this is my about us page. And then of course, some things are still going to be the same. Something like what my customer has said about me, and then the subscription and your footer. Those are going to be the same sometimes across board. So let me see if we have questions from what from what I from what I have done. Okay, so hold on. Let me see this. All right, so Ayodele said, that's Esther, you you don't get how to determine the distance between one element and the other. So you can use your alt key to determine the difference between one element and the other. So let's say I want to determine the distance between this element to who are we. I've clicked on the elements I want to, figure out the distance between. So let's say this is point A. This place where my cursor is now is point A. I'll just click on my Alt key, yes, and then I'll bring that cursor to where I want to, know the distance between. So I want to know the distance between this particular element to who are we. I'll just click on Alt and then I can find the distance. So let's say I want to look at the distance between who are we to what we do. This is the same thing. So I've clicked on who are we, and I'll just click on Alt and then put my cursor on. I'm not clicking now, I'm just putting my cursor on what we do. Let's take, for instance, I want to find the distance between this rectangle element to this rectangle element. I've clicked on point A, just put my cursor on point B, and then I can find that distance, or the red line distance. So I hope I've been able to answer that. Okay. Peace, Chiamaka. State exactly where you are lost. Uzomba, please also state exactly where you are lost. So okay, I will try to reduce my pace, but you can also reduce the pace of the video so that while you are watching, instead of watching at the normal pace, you can reduce the pace of the YouTube video and you'll be able to follow through in a slower version. All right. Okay. Okay, Morani Keji, thank you for answering that. Okay. Okay, so probably, Princess, when you click on Alt to check your distance, if you click on your Control and Alt, then you will be duplicating. Or if you if you left click and you click on Alt, you'll be duplicating as well. So try to make sure that it is only Alt you are clicking on. If you are left clicking and you are clicking on Alt, you would be duplicating your design. It's just Alt. Just click on Alt. Don't click on any other thing. Don't left click and click on Alt, so that you don't duplicate your design. Yeah. Okay, I think Moreni KG is even helping me out. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. Of course, Oreoluwa, you can actually use the play icon. So instead of just getting a polygon and then using it, of course, you can go to iconify and then you can get the iconify's, you can just search for play on iconify and then you can make use of the play icon. The same way we were able to get some icons from iconify, you can do that as well. So that would just, fasten your work. Okay. So, okay, so the frame I used for the desktop low fidelity, just click on F. Now I'm trying to get to a pure plain page. Click on F. If you can't click on F, or if you are looking at like, okay, where exactly do I click on? What icon do I click on to get to my frame? At the lower part of Figma, this place where I am, at the lower part of Figma, you are seeing different icons there. This place that has like an hashtag, just click on it, and then you would see your frame panel here. Now, the first one we were using was the different phone frames, yeah? But if you are clicking or if you want to work on a tablet, these are different tablet frames here. So if they tell you, oh, let's design something that we can use on an iPhone, or sorry, on an iPad, or on a tablet pad, something like that, you can always pick your tablets from here. Now, if you are looking for a desktop, you can see your MacBook Air frame here. You can see your MacBook Pro frame here, whether the 14 inches or the 16 inches. And then you can see your desktop frame here. You can see a wireframe here. Now, you can either use your wireframe or your desktop frame, whichever one works. You can even see a TV frame here as well. So whichever one. But most of the time, I go for desktop, since I'm used to like creating, since it's the same thing with wireframe. I just click on my desktop and then I design or I rename and then I work out what I want to do. So let's say you want to do like a contact us screen. So you can just write your contact us and then you can start your low fidelity from there. I hope I've been able to answer that question. Gift. Okay. All right. I'm trying to see the questions. Ugochi said, how did I select the text with the drawing? How did I select the text? Can you give further explanation on that, please? I'm not sure I get your question, Ugochi. Please, can you expatiate on that? Okay. All right. Does it mean that if the tablet frame is chosen, the designs won't be responsive on iPhone? No. So there are different screens, yeah. So there are different screens. There are different how do we put it? There are different screens for every design. So let's say that you want to, let's start from picking a phone. First, let's get to frame. So right click, or sorry, get your frame here and then get something like phone. So this is your phone. So whatever frame you want to get from here, you can actually get it. Say you want to get your Android small, you can use your Android small. Now, when you are done designing on your Android small, you can also decide, I'm not supposed to teach you responsive design. The facilitator that will take you responsive design would talk about that. So from here, you can then move to, say you want to design for a tablet, you can move to a tablet and then design for a tablet. Yeah. So you want to design for a tablet, you come here and then you go to your tablet, you pick a screen from your tablet. So let's say you want to pick an iPad mini. And then let's say that for the third one, you want to pick another frame. You want to design for another frame. So let's say you want to pick maybe a MacBook Air. You can pick a MacBook Air and then you can design, those designs on the 3 different screens that you have there. Somehow you can even design a different design for your Android small, a different design for your iPad mini, a different design that would look like somebody is using an iPad, that would look like somebody is using a MacBook Air, and that would look like somebody is using an Android or an iPad. I hope I've been able to answer that. Okay, so auto layout automatically lays out your work. For example, I'm going to give you an instance, okay? I'm going to give you an instance. So let's try something. Let's play around, okay? Before we even go to high fidelity, let's play around. And that's because we have 2 hours. That's why I try my possible best to be as fast as I can, so that you would always go back to the videos to watch them. So let's pick a rectangle. But today, I'm going to be answering all our questions today. So this is a rectangle here, 100 by 100. Yeah, this is a rectangle here. Now let me duplicate this rectangle, duplicate, bring it here, and then put both of them in an auto layout. So I've selected the 2 of them, and then right click, then get your auto layout. So where do I go to? Add auto layout. Now let's take for instance now that I want to add more rectangles. What I can just do is duplicate, right? And then it automatically lays out what I have done, like automatically. So if I want to change this, now this is why auto layout is good. So if I want to change this design from the horizontal way it is lined up to a vertical lineup automatically without having to stress myself, yes, I can just come to my auto layout here and see that the first place is in horizontal layout. If I click on this arrow that is facing down, the design, my elements would automatically lay itself out vertically. Can you see that? So now it is no longer in the horizontal way, it is now in the vertical mode. That's one of the advantages of auto layout. Let's take for instance, oh, you don't want it in vertical mode again, you want it in the horizontal mode. You can easily just move from horizontal to vertical. It doesn't just end there. Take for instance, you want to make it wrapped such that now let's try something out, okay? Now at this point, I want to maybe constrain my design. Can you see what I'm doing now? I am constraining my design, but as much as I am constraining my design, this design is still outside. Now this time around, I want the design to not just be outside, but also inside the frame. Let's do a Control Z. Now I want my design, maybe for example, hold on. For example, I want my width. Maybe my width has a constraint of it has to be 400. So everything I am designing must enter 400, right? What I would do at this point is to maybe click on wrapped, depending on what I want as a design. So if I want my design to lay itself out in a wrapped format, I can just click on wrapped and I have this. So instead of it just being either horizontal or vertical, it can also wrap itself in such a way that I don't need to really stress myself to start arranging my rectangles to look like what I have here now. So it can wrap itself, or hold on, Control Z. See where we are. We are still talking about auto layout. This is still auto layout. And I've just talked about the vertical layout. Yes. Hold on. Let's, hug content now. We'll still talk about the hugging content and the fixed content. I think that was where I was going to go to next. So now this is the vertical layout for this particular cursor, for this particular arrow going down. Now this is the horizontal layout, yes, for making it, just align itself horizontally. Now take for example, you want to be able to move your content. Maybe you want to make it like flow from one place to the other. I'm not teaching you interactions as well. So maybe you want to, move, maybe you want to slide your design. You want to slide your design from one angle to the other. You can actually leave your design in this way, and then you can go to your prototype and work that out. So you can leave it like this. But say you don't want to leave it like this. You want it to actually wrap itself. You want it to wrap itself. You can click on wrapped. So let's click cover this out, and then click on wrap, and then you can wrap your design like this. So what auto layout does is auto layout, automatically arranges your work in a very, beautiful and fast way. But if you are working with frames, so let's take for instance, you have a rectangle 100 by 100, and then we duplicate the rectangle, we bring it here. Now let me put this in frame. Yes, so right click and then frame the selection. Beautiful. So I want to duplicate this. You notice that my duplication is still on top of, my work here. Now whatever I want to do, if I move this too much and I bring it out, it has gone out of the frame. Whereas with auto layout, it's not like that. So what I have to do is, if I want to bring this in now, I have to bring it inside the frame manually. If I have to move it, I have to first move the frame, that expand the frame, and then start, sorry, that's that. that's another thing. And start, moving this by myself. So let's even say that now I've moved it there. Now, I think if I duplicate now without clicking on anything, I think it will work. Oh, it didn't work. Wow. So let's try it again. Let's move now. I think it would work now. Yes, it worked now. Now let's say that I want to make it like horizontal, like this is horizontal. Maybe I want to make it vertical. I would now manually have to move this down and then start bringing, sorry about that. So I would now have to move this down and then manually, start arranging it like this again, when you could actually use an auto layout to, arrange your work in a more demure way than this. Then I will now close this up by myself, and I will now come here by myself. So you see that with using frames, you would manually have to do some things, but with auto layout, you can just, grab and work your design out by yourself. I hope that's helped. I hope that's helped. Hold up, let me see let me see. Okay, Olayinka, I hope I've been able to answer your question. Please just let me know if I've been able to answer your question. Olamide says, what happens if we design to change the frame? Does our work automatically flushes and fits itself into the new frame? No, it doesn't. You have to manually work that out. Please, can we decide to change the frame after we are done designing on phone frame? If you change the frame, then I'm not sure of the recent update on Figma, but if you change the frame, I think that you still manually have to work some things out, except you have actually started designing with responsiveness in mind. So if you have started designing with responsiveness in mind, there are some things that you would actually need to put into consideration. You would learn that in one of the classes. So drawing and texting are different inputs. So how did I select the two? How did I select the two together before pasting and duplicating? Okay, so let's take for instance, these are two different frames, right? I'm going to bring it out. So I just selected the two. This is the first selection I've made. I'm holding my shift key down and I'm able to select the second one. If you cannot do that, just select the two by doing something like this. Yeah, by doing something like this. And then if you have selected the two, you can actually duplicate them without having any issue. I hope I've been able to explain that as well. Let me cover all of this and delete. Okay, so I hope I've been able to answer that as well. Okay. 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 Adding auto layout, is it the same thing as merging the images? No, it's not. It's not the same thing as merging the images. Blessing, just click on the first, click on element A that you want to use to find the space, and then when you just hold that cursor on the next place, you're going to see the spacing difference. You're going to see that spacing difference. You're going to see it there. Okay. No, auto layout is not the same thing as grouping. Auto layout is not the same thing as grouping at all. Grouping is a different thing. Grouping is not even the same thing as framing. So grouping is a different thing entirely. And I don't advise in my class that you frame. I'm sorry, I don't advise in my class that you group. I don't advise in my class that you even group your design. I don't think is demure. That's the word I can think of. Okay. No, no, no. So Oloruntoyin, if you design for, let's take for instance, we have designed for this kind of phone. We've designed for an iPhone 8. Yes. With this design that you have for iPhone 8, you can use this to automatically consider all of the phone designs. Now, if you pick a MacBook Air or a desktop to design for desktops, it's automatic that you've already designed for all the kinds of desktop that there is. If you pick one of the tab frames to design for tab, it's automatic that you have already designed with all of the tabs in mind. So that's that. So you don't have to like design for all of the iPhone screens, or you have to design for all of the, all of the iPhone different frames. No, it's not compulsory. Of course, you can add auto layout to just one element. See how I wrote a text and then I added auto layout to that text and then I worked it out, So you can add auto layout to just one element. Yes, please. Okay. How did I highlight before the auto layout? So I just select or drag and select. So when you are dragging over that design, you are selecting that design as well. No, you cannot design for a desktop. Omotoyosi, you cannot design on a desktop and automatically make it for an iOS or an Android. You cannot, except you have started from the ground roots, designing with responsiveness in mind. If you're having a 106 error, check if it is network. If it is not network, try to use another system and a better network to open your Figma. That's to praise. Try to use another system to open Figma. I'm not sure there's an error right now with Figma. If you are just coming in, of course, you might feel lost. Even if you are preparing food from the, maybe you just met them frying the akara already, you would not understand how they started from the beginning. So if you feel lost coming in, please start watching from the beginning. There's no crime in watching from the beginning. Okay. Okay, so I'm clicking Control D to duplicate after adding an auto layout, and it's not working like your own. All right, so what you are doing is, hold on. So maybe you are doing something like this. You want to click on a particular element and you just click the frame once and you are duplicating. It might not work like that. So you probably have to select that particular thing you want to duplicate. So you probably have to select like the element you want to duplicate. So I've selected mine, Control D. You can see that now it's working, Control D, and it's working. So you have to make sure you are selecting that image. If you're not selecting other elements, rather, if you're not selecting that element, it might not work. That's to Mabel, yeah? Okay. It's almost the same thing as so that's somebody said, why Omotoyosi says, why don't I recommend grouping? Because it will still stress you out when you want to align and change some things out in your design. It will still stress you out, like really stress you out. And for me as a designer, I try not to, stress myself out while I'm designing. So if I'm designing something, in fact, in most of my designs, because of course simplicity is key in my design, I try not to group. I just go for auto layouts or framing. And when I frame, I understand why I am framing. As a designer, you need to understand why you are doing a particular thing. Why do I want to frame? Why do I want to use auto layout? If I understand that in the design I'm going to design, I'm going to move something. Now, let's try something out. This is auto layout. Yeah, this is auto layout. And then I know that I can keep duplicating and it will keep working for me. But what if I want to design something? So let's bring in a rectangle. This is a rectangle here. And in this rectangle, I want a triangle and a circle to just, be somewhere. So this is my triangle and I'm just dragging, right? So let's just change the color to something deeper. Yes. Then let's bring in a circle and let's duplicate this. Let's bring it here. Now let's bring in an ellipse. Let's just put the ellipse around here. Okay, let's make sure it's the same. So Control Z, constrain the proportion, make it let's make it an 80. Then let's change the color. Okay. All right, great. Now if I know that I want to do something like this, if I put it in auto layout, it will scatter. This is it, Shift A. Can you see that? So it has scattered what I want, but this is not what I want. So Control Z. What I would achieve in this place is framing. Why am I doing framing selection? Because if I now want to move it again, let's say I want to just move something to like fit into somewhere, I can manually try that out. I can manually do that without stressing myself. With grouping now this is my own reason for using frame, because I probably would want to change something, or maybe in my animation I want to animate something in a particular way. So I'm going to have to like group in this way, move in that way. I would just use my frame and it would go seamlessly. If I'm grouping it and I'm trying to do something that should be in a frame, I would still have the problem and I would still need to frame it at the end of the day. So instead of doing all of that, I'll just go simply by framing my work and continuing in my design. So that's the reason why I frame. I hope I've been able to answer your question. Damilola, if designing for one phone frame means you have designed for all the phone frame, will it look nice and responsive on other frames? Of course, yes, it will. Now that's where your developer, brings his own, amazing magic. So they know how to use that same design to move on all phone frames, but not that you are doing for phone frame and you think that it will be the same on the way to look like on a desktop. No, not like that. Except you are working with except you have already started responsiveness. Okay. Of course, if you look at my design, I'm hoping you can see my design. If you look at this design, you can see grids here too. So you have to use grids while you are designing so that it doesn't fall out of your design. You still have to use grids while you are designing. Okay, you still have to use grids while you are designing, whether for tablets or for desktop or for whatsoever you are designing, whether for phone, desktop, you have to use your grid. Your grid is like your guide. So you have to, use your grid in your design. Okay. Okay. Okay, so to explain the wrap again, let's try a different thing. I used to use ellipse a lot when I'm trying to explain that part of. So this is two. All right, great. Put the two of them in an auto layout. Sorry, I just use Shift A now, and then keep, duplicating. Now, to explain wrap, let's click on wrap from here while it is still looking horizontal, yeah? So just click on wrapped. This is wrapped here. It has, it is in wrapped format now, and now constrained. Can you see what is happening? So it will just keep, wrapping your design and fitting into what you are thinking of doing. And then you can actually work with this. So that's all with wrap. With wrap, you can wrap your work, and then it stays. Wrap is like you pouring something inside water. I'm sorry, you pouring water inside a cup. It would fit into that cup. But then if you probably, excuse me, If you probably pour it into a jug again, it will fit into that jug. And then if you probably pour it into a basin, it will fit that basin. And then if you probably pour it into like a well, it will still fit into that well. That's how wrap is. So with wrap, you can fit your design into wherever or whatsoever you are thinking of fitting your design into. Okay, I hope I've been able to answer everyone's question. Onyinye, I think you should talk to the community manager. I'm not sure I can answer your question on that. Okay, I think you should talk to the community manager. I'm just a facilitator. I don't know anything about switching courses. All right. So if I've been able to answer these questions, we would be going by 8 o'clock. We'll be running on a short break so that we can take our attendance. And can you see that the time has actually 1 hour has been spent already here? So I'm hoping that in the next in the next 1 hour, we'll be using that to maybe work on the high fidelity part of our design. While we are doing that, or while we are hoping to wait till 8 o'clock, I'll just talk about status, designing your status and bringing your status in. So let's say you want to work on your status design, high fidelity now. I'm duplicating this screen and then I'm bringing it directly under this directly under the low fidelity. So let's delete the place where we have for our status, and then let's quickly go to iconify. So go to iconify now. You are looking for your battery. You can look for any battery of your choice, whether the battery is full or the battery is almost dying. So you can look for any one. I think I would work with this battery, and then I can import icon. I've imported it. Sorry, excuse me, Control Z. That was a mistake, but at least Control Z is good for me. So bring that in, and then you can fix that in somewhere. But of course, let it stay. Don't let it go out of your grid. Yeah, don't let it go out of your grid. So you have your battery in now. The next thing is maybe like you have like a Wi-Fi. Yeah, so get your Wi-Fi. Let me see if it is Wi-Fi or signal. Oh, sorry. Get iconify. Get your Wi-Fi. Let's see if that would come in. Okay, so I'm seeing Wi-Fi already. Let me see that. Let's bring this in. Okay, import icon and close. All right, beautiful. So this is our Wi-Fi. Let me still bring in a signal. I'm thinking our signal would be good. So let's look at iconify. Bring your signal in. So signal for your network. Yes, perfect. And then I'm bringing this in as an icon as well. So close this. Now this would stay in the middle. Now what I can do is I can put these three in an auto layout and then, arrange them in a very good way. So auto layout, perfect. What's the distance? Let's make the distance between them 4, and then let's check that it is 24. Yes, that's good. 12 up. Yes, that's nice. So we already have this going good and working for us. Now we are going to get our time. So let's pick our text. Now let's use 12. Yes, perfect. And then we would have something like 12. What's the time now? 1954. All right, great. So we have 1954, and then we can just put this here. So after putting the two of them there, yes, you can select your time and your status, all of what you have there, put them in auto layout. So right click and shift A, yeah. So add auto layouts, and then let's see, centralize them. You can leave it like this, or you can do what I want to do now. You can decide to add like a 24 to your margin, to your padding. That's your horizontal, I think, your horizontal padding. So you add 24. Perfect. I know that it has scattered, don't worry. Now elongate this and put it at the edge of your frame, at the edge of your frame, and you are good to go. So centralized and you are good to go. Now what you want to do is you want to make this fixed. This is not going to move all through your design. Anything you are designing is not going to move from there, so you can just leave it like this. How do we do that? You go to your prototype and then you say no scrolling, that's fixed, stay in place, and then you can leave it. So in whatsoever you are doing, this will just stay in place. Let's say you choose a fill color of white or of the background that you are actually dealing with. Now you've been able to create your status. Now I said it in the last class that I like to write, I like to, name my work so that I'm not looking for any particular thing. So I have just, named my status and I have fixed that in, in a good place already. Let's even say that you have like two, for me now I have two SIM cards on my phone. So I can just decide to do this and then, it's showing two networks on my phone already. You can also decide to put any other thing, like maybe your WhatsApp notification or what have you, your Slack notification, your LinkedIn notification. You can decide to put all of that there. Now that you are done with this, you can come to this bottom panel. Let me see if we have any question. If you are not seeing my design clearly, please kindly increase the resolution of your screen so that you can see it. Okay, so hold on. I'm trying to read your questions as well. Oluwadarasimi, forming rows and columns would be grids, yeah? So you are asking how you create a grid on your design or on your frame. Wow, that was done in one of the classes. So I think it would be advisable that watch previous classes so you don't feel lost. If you don't watch previous classes, you are going to be lost. I'm hoping that that's clear. So if you want to quickly create a grid, I'm just going to do that within the next few minutes. I have an iPhone 8 here. I hope Oluwadarasimi is watching this. And then your layout grid is down here. Click on your layout grid. Pick this point. Let me raise this up so that you'd see it. Now, this is where you want to come to. Change your grid from grid to columns and then make it 4 if you are working with your phone frame. Now you can give it a margin of say 24. You can leave your gutter at 20. You can increase it to 24, or you can even reduce it to 16, but between 16 and 24, and you are good to go. Leave this at stretched, and that's that. You can decide to change the color, right? So if you want to change the color, you can change the color to whatsoever color you want to change it to. You can also reduce your you can reduce the opacity. Opacity means transparency, so you can reduce the opacity as well to whatever you want to reduce it to. So that's that. I hope I've been able to answer your question on that. I think it is 1 minute to the time, so we may not be able to work this out, but this one, just get a rectangle or just get a line, whether a line or a rectangle. I like working with rectangles, so you can just get a rectangle or a line within these two spaces here. So just put this line to show the that something is down there, yes. And then of course height of 8, yeah, and then rounded corner radius of 8, so that it would have like a very demure kind of look. And then of course you can put this now in an auto layout. So put it in an auto layout and drag, okay, Control Z. So hold on, give me a minute. Hold your rectangle, and instead of fill, I don't want it on fill, I want it on fixed width. Yes. Now I can just pick my auto layout and fix that in the right location. Now centralize. So that's that. You can change the color of this to black. So, and you are good to go. So let's be on our break. When we come back, we continue with our high fidelity design. Thank you very much, everyone. All right, so you're welcome back. You're welcome back. I hope you've taken your attendance. Now let's look into our logo. So our logo is Litafa. Hold on, give me a minute. I'm really hoping that I can get ladies in tech logo. So give me a minute. Let me do a bit of digging. Images. Sorry, just give me a minute. Just 1 minute. Mm, okay, let me try something. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to try to I'm going to try to work this out. Okay. Okay. So let's see how this would work with our design. I'm trying to imagine that this would work as our logo. I used to have this logo. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure where it ran to again. So give me a moment. I'm still working things out. So let's think and say, okay, this is our logo right here. Okay, so Lita, ladies in tech Africa, I am coming. I have a feeling I have this somewhere, but I can't really pinpoint where. No, still the same thing. All right, so let's move so I don't waste time on that. Now we have ladies in tech Africa. I'm really wishing that this was not the logo I had to grab, but we're going to imagine that this is our logo. I'm going to try to see if we can get a better one later on. But let's see, and let's say that okay, this is our logo. If this is our logo, which I don't really want to use, I'm going to see how I can create a background that seems or looks like it. Yeah. So let's move and say my fill color. I can get my pen tool and then I can use this to kind of make it like the same color with what we have at the background. Now, this can go, yes, but then we have this loader, and this loader is quite different from what I want. I want a continual loader. So at this point, I would be getting a circle, the same way we created our loader at the beginning. The same way we created our loader at the beginning, I'm going to create that loader again. So let's go, splash screen, but this time around it's going to be different. So I'm trying to zoom in so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm getting my circle, that's my ellipse now. and then I'm bringing it here. Now, somebody was asking how to constrain proportion. If you can see where my cursor went to, just beside layouts, you'd see this place, and you can see something called constraint proportions. Just click on it, and then you have constrained your proportion. What your proportion does, I think I've explained that before, is that your proportion helps you to, align your sizing in a very, very cool way. It just helps you to align both sides, your width and your height. It aligns that in, the same way. So that's what your proportion does. Now we are creating this loader. I'm closing up the loader. And for me at this point, I'm going to do something like a very dark gray color. And I'm going to kind of, no, instead of reducing the opacity, let me just do this. Okay, and then I'm duplicating this circle now, and creating a pink shade out of it. But this time around, we are breaking it, yeah, so that it will look as if, so that it will really look like a loader. And then next thing I'm doing, I'm giving it a corner radius, so that it can really be curved. I'm thinking that we should make the circle at the bottom side, the first circle. Okay, this is the first, this is the second. I'm thinking we should make that like brighter. So let's give it like a white color. Yeah, something like this. Yes, that's cool. So we have our loader here, and then we can move to the next screen. So our next screen is the onboarding screen. I want to bring that here. All right, and in my onboarding screen, of course, delete that, bring in this, and then click. I just copied my status. So this is me copying my status, selecting my onboarding and pasting it there. It will just paste there. Now we are bringing in our image. So we are looking for an image that is in we are looking for an image here. So let's do a Control Z, and then I'm deleting some things from here, deleting this line. I'm deleting this line. Hey, Control Z, sorry, I picked the wrong thing. So let me bring in, hold on. Yeah, this is a frame. Hold this frame. Let's see. Fixed width, of course. Fixed height as well. Fixed height. Okay. So select this and then delete. Perfect. So let's look for an image. Just let's look for something like let's look for, yes, let's go to our images. So to get to my image, I'm going to my plugin and widgets again, and then this time around I'm looking for pixels, or you can look for Unsplash. So the most common that people will talk about is Unsplash, yeah, but I like pixels as well. So let's look for Unsplash. My Unsplash is loading. I think this is network, so let's give it a minute. But if it's not going to load, I can also quickly get another one. So let me see if I can quickly search. Okay, so let me search for, what are we searching for? Onboarding. Let's say businesswoman African. Let's just say black businesswoman. Okay, perfect. So we are looking for an independent woman who is black. All right, so I think this would work. Okay, that image is there already. Oh. Let me see this. Control Z. All right, perfect. So we have the image here now. And then next thing I'm looking into is, let me see, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Hold on. All right, so let me put that image here. All right, perfect. So we can now change this context. We can change the content to anything you want to change it to. So let's say save money without, I think we were looking for some content at some point, yeah, during our first class. So we can also use those contents that we had written at those times for our onboarding. I I should even check all of that out. So save money without breaking the bank. Save money without breaking the bank. And then you can now say this first circle here would be pink instead of, now you have a color that you want to work with. So this is pink, and then the others can be gray. And then maybe you even want your button to maybe be deep pink, and then this one to be like black. You understand? So you can now work with whatever color you have. I'm thinking using pink might just be, oh sorry, control Z. Let's use this pink. Yeah, so pick this pink and let's see how it would come up. All right, so we can say get started, and instead of white we can use black for contrast sake. Yes, and then instead we can say skip. So we can change this to skip, and then we can make this like the same pink. That's if we want to use that. So we can say same pink. Okay. And then the skip can also be pink, depending on what we want. Now we can decide that instead of the stroke being here, we can remove the stroke and then maybe add a shadow. So to add a shadow now, let's give it a fill color of white first, and then let's now say we want to give it an effect. So to add this shadow, you can decide to tweak your shadow, your drop down, in the way you want it to be. So let's say you want Y1, let's make it 10 or 16 for blur. Okay, and then let's reduce this opacity to, yep, to something like a 16. All right, nice. Let me see if we're together. All right, okay, I'm seeing this. Beautiful. Okay, so for the circle, I did not duplicate, I did not put it in auto layout. I just kept them on themselves. Okay, I didn't use an auto layout for the circles. I didn't use an auto layout for the circles. Okay. Okay, how did I get the independent woman on Splash? Just go to your plugins, yes, and then you get on Splash from there. So from there you can get those images. All right, so if you feel that black is not complementing, I'm trying to, I want to do something. So let me see. I want to copy this same thing here. So this is Y1 16 16. Perfect. And then I'm going to do the same here. So let's remove the stroke color here, and let's add the layout grid. Oh no, not layout grid, sorry. Control Z. Let's add the, oh, I see what I'm doing. Yes, I'm correct. So let's add the effect, yes. And then let's change this to Y at 1, blur at 16. Yes, and then color at 16% opacity as well. Okay, but this time around, I see that. So instead of drop shadow, let me see. Yes, yes, I'm still correct. I'm still correct. But this time around, instead of Y, yes, Y is down. I'm going to do a minus, no, not for X. X is still going to be 0. So instead of plus 1, I'm going to be doing a minus 1. I think that would work for the top parts. Let me see that. Aha, and then my fill. I've not added to my fill. Yeah, so that's that. So this is what we've been able to achieve, the drop shadow. And then somebody said that the black is not complementing. Well, let me see that. Let me check that out. How do I check if my colors are complementing or not? That's the question that we would ask. And then we can also check that from your plugin. I have a plugin I use to check that out, and that's my stack contrast and accessibility checker. So what I can just do is I can just check my contrast from these two, and I can see that really it's contrasting. But someone says I should try white. Now, hold on and let me try putting my white on the same color you said we should put it. So let's try white, yeah? This is white, so can you see that? This is white. This is, let's even use like the plainest of whites. So this is the plainest kind of white you can get on this color, and you notice that it's not checked at all. Can you see that there's no there's your accessibility is not good? Some people with some kind of eye issues would not see your get started if you use the white color on this particular pink, which is why you want to probably use a dark shade. So let's say if you even use like the darkest, if you use like black, if you use like black, the dark of dark, people would see it well. You see that it has checked all of them. Yes. So this is stack contrast and accessibility checker, which can help you check your colors and see if you're on point or not. But I don't want the black of black, so of course I'm going to like move with a deep shade of black, but not the black of black, of which, I mean, this still goes. Is a 4.5 and triple A large text goes, but for triple A small text it does not go. But for a medium, and this is a medium text and it's like accessible, so that's a check for me already. So that's what I would use to check that out. And then for this one, I might not even give it this color, because of course you can see that it's not really going, it's not accessible. So what I will do is I will make my pink a deeper shade. Now, how do I make this pink a deeper shade? If you have not created your style, your color style, I always advise, if when you were taught design system, I'm sure you would have been taught those colors and the likes. So what you would have done is to pick a deeper shade of the pink. But since we have not done that, what I can do is I can move from hex color to my HSL, and then I can reduce the brightness of these colors. So while I'm reducing the brightness, you can see that it is giving me a deeper shade of the pink. It has not gone out of the real shade, but it is giving me a deeper shade. And then I think I can work with the shade that I have now. So I'll just copy this color and then paste it here as well. And I have a deeper shade that can help people with different eye challenges. So that's that. So that's that with your onboarding screen. Now you can say, okay, this is the first onboarding screen. Your second onboarding screen, you can do this, move like this, yeah, and then say, instead of save money without breaking the bank, I think I saw someone's hold on, let me look for something. I saw someone type something that looks really catchy over there. Save money without hassle. Okay, so we've done save money without breaking the bank. Let's say you can do something like manage money wisely. Manage your money wisely. And then this is your next. Now you can, either skip or get started, or you can even say get started Yes, we can still leave that as get started or skip. Then you can have like your third one, Control D. Now for the third one, move this. So this time around, you see that because you have used auto layout on some of your designs, it becomes easier to even design. Now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this here as well, so that you have something like a fading sort of, stuff. And then I'm thinking that I should do this. Hold on. So for this second one now, duplicate this, bring it here, and then delete the smallest one. Perfect. So duplicate this second, duplicate, bring it here, and then delete the last one. Also duplicate this, bring it to the last slide, and delete this. I think that works. So this is the first, this is the second, this is the third. Yes, that's good. Then what do we have for the third one? We're also going to change this image. So let's see how we can change the image. Now go to your Unsplash, and then let's look for another black businesswoman. Yeah, black businesswoman. Okay, good. So let's look for someone that we can actually use for managing money wisely. All right, so I think this lady writing, it looks like she's really looking for how to manage some things well. Or we can use these ladies looking at their systems. It looks like they are trying to manage their money, but I'm seeing a white lady. Okay, I think we should use this. Let's use that. Although I'm looking at Africa. So if we're looking at Africa, I'm trying to Africanize our design to make sure that we have like the real. No, this is a guy. Oh, I need a lady. Oh, I'm seeing something good here. All right. Now, this is one thing that you also want to see. You've been able to bring this lady in, but somehow you already cut her head, right? And then you don't want that. If I'm doing, or if I'm working on this design, I would come to crop. I'm not cropping her. I'm only moving her to stay in the perfect place that I want her to stay. I don't want her head off that design. So I want it perfect like this. So I can leave this as manage your money wisely. I can leave this like that, or you can decide to, change the image if you feel like you want a better image. Manage your money wisely. This third one would be maybe spend within your budget. Spend within your budget. Okay. So for spending within your budget, we should have another kind of image staring at us. So let's look for another image. So let's go to Unsplash. Some decisions like this would even take a longer time. Let's go to the market. So let's go to an African market. So we are saying you should spend within your budget, and we know that we like to so let's say, or let's go to a shopping mart. Let's go to a shopping mart. All right, but I don't want to see any non-African. All right, so we can pick. Oh yes, this is a bag. Yeah, this is a bag. This is something that would actually attract the ladies. Okay, but I'm looking for something more catchy. Let me say African. So let's Africanize it. Mm, I'm thinking I should try this. Spending between your budget or spending within your budget. Yeah, this is it. I've seen what I want. All right, so this is good. So we have spend within your budget. Yes, let's look for something else. Let me even look for, so after spend within your budget, this is the fourth one. You can have something like um save money. I think we've done save money without breaking the bank. Okay, get interest on your savings. Okay, get interest on your savings. All right, good. So get interest on your savings. Let's see the kind of image. So let's say money. So let's do money in a jar. All right, great. Like a piggy something. Get interest on your savings. Let's see. Yes, I'm thinking this works. But I don't know this. How much is this? I don't know the currency. Get interest on your savings. Let's see. This is a guy's hand. I'm seeing this African thing and it's looking like, okay, we can try that. But I'm also looking for something that would, look feminine as well. Okay. I'm thinking I should use this without the image or anything. So get interest on your savings. We are changing this. It's moving here. We are having this come here. Okay, no. Hold on. Delete this. I'm thinking we should bring a smaller circle and Control V, but here, while that is number 4, this comes here. All right, great. Hold on, this also comes here. This is deleted. Yeah, perfect. Hold on, let me see. This is 8 by 8. This should be 6. All right, I'm seeing that it's 8. I'll just change it manually to 6. All right, perfect. All right, that's good. And then let me see. So this is the first, this is the second, this is the third, this is the fourth, and then finally we are moving to the last one. So you have get interest on your savings, and then we now have make a living with Litafa. All right, so now for make a living with Litafa, you can look for, let's see, happy African businesswoman. Okay, yes, we want this. So now you are making a living with Litafa. All right, so that's good. Now at this place, you don't want to put skip again. You want to put get started or login. Let's see. Instead of skip, you want to do you want to leave, just remove this. So let's say I'm going to just close this up. Hold on. Let's see. By height, I want this to be fixed. So let's say fixed height, yes. So that means if I delete this, I still just want to take this to the top. Okay, not changing anything. Sorry. Control Z. What's the distance between this to the top? That is 31. All right, great. So let's work on a top distance of 32 while I delete this and then still take it to the top. Yes, so that works for me. Okay, so we have get started. Or I can even decide to put it at the center so that it doesn't look wrapped or something. Okay, so this is what we have. Now let's try to check out our design, or let's see what we've done so far. This is an iPhone 8. This is an iPhone 8 here, or an iPhone 6, an iPhone 8 screen. Okay. Oh wow. That's crazy. Sorry, give me a minute. I'm wondering why this is. Yeah, it's in now. Wondering why the image is not showing. Let's try this. All right, so that would be network. Yeah, I'm wondering why that's happening. The network is probably down at the moment, but you can see other designs here. So the network is down at the moment, and I'm not sure as to why the images are showing blank. But of course, you can see other designs that we've had. So let's go back. Aha. So this is the first screen, Ladies in Tech Africa, and then you are coming now to the next screen. This is the next screen. Oh wow, okay. I've seen something. Control C on this and then replace that. Replace that. Oh, Control Z. Replace this. Replace this. Replace this. And replace this. All right, so we are seeing onboarding screen. Then we are seeing the next onboarding screen, the next onboarding screen, the next onboarding screen, the next onboarding screen. So that's that, yeah. Now you can even decide that you want to even start your prototype so that it can, start prototyping from where you are to the next place you are going to. So if you want to work on that, you can easily go to your prototype over here. This is your prototype button, yes. So click on prototype and then you can start prototyping. So let's say you want to move from this splash screen to your onboarding screen without tapping your screen. Now we are already entering prototype now. So you can say, okay, on tap, at this point you don't want on tap. So you can go to after delay. Now, look at the different options you have. You can tap on your screen. You can drag your screen. Maybe when you drag your screen, something happens. Maybe when you hover on something, something happens. Maybe when you press a button, something happens. Maybe when you click a particular key, something happens. Or if you mouse enter or mouse leave, or you touch down or you touch up, something happens. But now we are using after delay. So you are not tapping your screen, but maybe after a few seconds something happens. Now it's saying, do you want it to be after 800 milliseconds? You can decide to change the milliseconds from here. Now milliseconds is not up to a second. When you say 1000 seconds, that is now 1 second. So if you say 1000 milliseconds, that is 1 second. So that means that 800 milliseconds is not up to a second. Now, within 800 milliseconds, I should have moved. Let's try 1000. Let's try 1800 milliseconds. Yeah. So from by 1800 milliseconds, we should move to the next screen. So navigate to the onboarding screen. Now, do you want it to be instantly or do you want it to kind of move in? So let's try this again. Hold on, let's try this again. Can you see this now? So do you want it to just move in like that, or what do you want to do actually? So do you want it to move in that fast, or do you want it to move in, in a very slow way? So do you want it to be within 800 milliseconds to just, move in again like that? Now let's reload our screen again. So let's reload it and then watch that. You see that now it is slower than the first one. Now if you want to move it within 1200 milliseconds, that's slower. So let's reload our screen again and then let's see what happens with our movement. So now that's slower. Now from there you can decide that, okay, let's continue our design. So let's say that you want to kind of, at this point, if you click on get started, you should be going to the login screen or the sign up screen, and if you click on skip as well, you should go either to the login screen or the sign up screen. But if you want to like check everything that is going on, so let's say you swipe, Abby. So from this place now, you want to not tap, you want to drag your screen. Now do you want to drag it do you want to drag it, following that arrow? That's this arrow now. Do you want to drag it to that arrow? And do you also want it to be 1200 milliseconds? You can decide to do that. Or if that works for you, yes. So now on drag, you move. So now this is what you are saying. Hold on. Yes, on drag, I move. So let's drag now. Drag. Can you see that? So I've dragged it. Let's go back. Let's reload our screen from the start. Let's reload our screen from here. So within 1200, yes, it goes, and then I can now drag my screen. Can you see that? So I've dragged that and then it's going. Now you can continue that, our model, yes. So you can say, okay, I'm good with that. So if I drag again, I should be able to move to the next place. Instead of tap, I want to be able to drag that way, and 1200, that works for me. So from there again, I can say the same thing to this next part. Say not on tap now, I want to drag and I want it to be 1200 milliseconds, and then you have that there. Now the third, or the fourth or whatsoever, you can decide that you don't want it to move in. Oh, you can decide that, oh, I don't want moving in, I want it to animate. But let's try moving in for now. You can try animation, that's the smart animate. It would move in a very, in a very unique, very demure, very smooth and classy way. So you can try all of that. So on drag, I want it to move in, yes, 1200 milliseconds, and you are good with that. So now that we've done that, if we are going to reload our screen from the beginning, let's start our flow now. The moment this works, you then do your drag. So manage your money wisely, spend within your budget, get interest on your savings, and okay, we've not moved this, our carousel, to the final part of our design. So let me come back to design and then let me move my carousel to this part, then change this to, yeah, make this, let's say this is now 4. Okay, this is 6. Duplicate this. So this is 6, yes, 6. This is 8. This is 10. This is 12. And then let's say this is okay, no, we're deleting one. Yeah, so this is it, 12. Perfect. So that's that. Yes, that's that. So now you can just, try it again. Let's reload from scratch. Okay, wait for 1200, and then you can try to drag once. Manage your money wisely, spend your money within a budget, get interest on your savings, make a living with Litafa, and then you can now click on get started to go into your login screen or other pages that you want to design. So let me look at this. Okay. Someone asked if product designers get paid well. You are the brain of your project now. They would have to pay you well for that. They would have to pay you well for the brain, because if you design rubbish for them, they'll get rubbish. All right. So can I explain? Let me see this. How to start the prototype. That's very simple. Just look at, you have your design. Look at your right-sided frame. Yeah, your frame on the right. You have a place just under your profile picture. You see something called design, and then on the right hand side, you see, on the next side, you see prototype. So just click on prototype and you've activated prototype. In fact, let's try to prototype our, let's try to now turn, turn our low fidelity to a prototype as well. Yes, but this time around, we are just going to be tapping. So tap, that's on tap, we go to the onboarding screen, and then let's say that from all of this, if you click on, let's click on this button. So this button, that's the most active button, should take us to our sign up. So let's say it should take us to our sign up screen. Yeah, so let me move this. Takes us to our sign up screen, and then if we want to log in instead, let's use this. So if you want to log in instead, you can come here. Also, if you want to sign up, you can come here. Just tap on that and it will bring you to sign up. And then if you are done with your signing up, just click on this and then you get to your home page. Now with what I've just created, let's try it out in our prototype. So I tap and then away. It's giving me the moving, but I don't want moving. So I want instant from here. So instead of moving in, let me go to instant. Yes. So because I'm done designing, I'll just work on my interactions. I don't want moving. I want instant. Yeah. So from there, where do I go back to? I don't want moving, I want instant. So I should have checked that out, but I was so sure that it wasn't going to give me that. So moving, change to instant. What else again? From here, I want instant. All right, I think I'm through. So let's reload this. Start from scratch, tap, perfect. Can you see that we didn't have to we didn't have to stress ourselves. Now let's reload again. Just tap and then you have this. When you are done with all what you want to do, click on this. You have your sign up, and from your sign up, let's say you want to log in. So go to login from here. Then let's say if you even click on fingerprint, yes. So let's say you click on your you click on your fingerprint. You should also go to your login, your dashboard. Yeah, so that's good. So let me see this now. So we are in login. Let's say you want to sign up. You can click on this to sign up. You can click on this to login. You can play around it. Yes, sign up, login. So let's say from login now, you just want to check your home page, and here you are. Now if you are showing someone this particular flow that you have done for your low fidelity, you won't call what we have just done now with this flow, you won't call it a low fidelity wireframe anymore. It has now changed to a low fidelity prototype. Why? Because you now have a flow to work with on your wireframe. So now it is no longer just a wireframe. You have turned this particular onboarding flow to a prototype. You can now tell somebody that, oh, I designed something. Can you check the prototype out for me? And then the person can now check your low fidelity prototype and advise you on it. I'm hoping that we have learned about prototype and wireframe. The difference is that the moment a flow has been added, it becomes a prototype. Without the flow, it is just a wireframe. But the moment you have added your prototype, which we have just shown you now, it becomes a a this now is an high fidelity prototype. What we've done here is an high fidelity prototype, and what you have here is a low fidelity prototype. So with this high fidelity prototype, now you can continue your design. So you've done your onboarding screen. You can now work with your, your login screen, your sign up screen. Then you can do your home screen, and then you can do other screens, your settings page and the others. And then you would have continued with your design, your home page. You can just keep designing. You can keep designing, and you can spend hours designing. You can design as much as 100 screens. You can design as much as 500 screens. I think I've designed 100 screens for a project before. I even think I've designed up to, just keep designing and enjoying yourself like that. So that's that. Okay. Do we have any question? This is 8:52. Do we have any question? I'm trying to see if we have a question. I see that the chat section just went mute. It looks like everybody was trying to get what I was doing. Okay, so Damilola said she tried the login, the loader, but she didn't really get it. So let me zoom in my screen. Let me close this out, and then let me work on this, screen like that. So you want to get your circle. I'm going to make this circle really big so that we can see the circle. And sorry, let's go back to design. So you cannot design on prototype, but when you come back to design, you can see your design. Let me change this to 400 so that we see it clearly. So you want to break this down, yeah? And then you want to zoom this in like this, and then close this. So this is the first one I created. Now, if you are creating the second one, I'm going to make the second one black so that we'll see the difference. Just duplicate, Control D to duplicate, and then break it. Now you see that the way I've broken it now, you can still see one under, because this one, see it, this is the second one, that's the duplicated one. So Control Z, I've broken it. Now you can change this design, change the color to something else so that you would know the difference between what you are doing and what is at the background. Now from where you are, give it like a good corner radius so that it would have this curved kind of look or feel, yeah. And then from there you can decide whatever you also want to do with it. I think this was how we left the other one, but if you want to prototype, I mean, you can prototype a lot of loaders and then it just keeps loading like that. But that's everything I did on that loader design. See, it is a different one, just duplicated, break it the same way we broke the first one, and then we joined it back, but this time around change the color and then give it a curved corner radius. I hope we got that. I hope we got that. And you have to create images now for your carousels to like really look good. And Joy, product designers are paid well. Well, I won't tell you how much, but they are really paid well if they know what they are doing. Okay. Sometimes you think it's blood money. All right, so the moment you want to check your prototype, that's when you would see the screen that's when you would see your whether iPhone screen or whatsoever, depending on the phone you are working with. So take for instance, you are working on maybe control, yeah. So let's say you are working on, let's bring in a different screen, yeah. So go to F, pick an iPhone 13 mini, and then let's try to prototype that. So how do I prototype it? If I click on, look at where I'm going to, this is my present button. Just look at where my cursor is. Follow my cursor. See where I'm going round. Now I'm in my profile section, but I'm not going there. I'm still going to the right. This is my present place. This drop down, click on your drop down and then click on preview. This preview would give you the screen you are looking for. So that's that. Wait, I'm seeing it. I'm still seeing the same screen. I'm hoping that it gives me like, this is an iPhone 8. Yeah, look at this. You can change it to whatever iPhone you want to change it to. So let's look for an iPhone 13. All right, great. Let me see if it would show me there. I'm hoping it will. Okay, no, it's not showing me that. Um, except I show it in presentation format. Okay, I think that's when it will show me the iPhone 13. So you can also change, look at this, you can change this. You can change your phone frames. Say you want to work with an Android, you can just use this and work with an Android. Or you can change your prototype from here as well. So you can change your prototype settings from here. This is me on iPhone 8. I can change this to an iPhone 13 so that when I'm prototyping, it's an iPhone 13 that would show. So let's try to check this out again. And then an iPhone 13 is showing, yeah? So let's say that you don't want an iPhone 13, you want an now, if you are using this, look, watch this, or just watch this. If you are using an iPhone 13 to check an iPhone 8 screen, it will not look good though. It will not come out well. For example, look at this. So it will not show like the full everything. It may not show that. And there may be some spaces. Let me try Android. Let me see if Android would scatter the entire thing, because iPhone 13 mini is still looking good. Oh, I'm seeing, oh my god, wow. So I think that Figma has updated it in such a way that no matter the phone frame you are picking, is going to move with those phone frames. Let me check this out. I'm coming. Wow. Oh, that's so cute. So before, you would still see those spaces showing there, but as of now, Figma has just done something sweet. So you can see that those screens are kind of changing with all of the fonts, and it's just blending. I mean, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I like this on Figma. That's cool. So you can check this out same way, and you can see how beautiful it looks like. Although as a beginner, if you do this as a beginner, I mean, I'll still give you a good thing. But I mean, this design can be better than this. This design can be absolutely better than this. Absolutely better than this. So any other question? Okay. No, there's no material for this practical. How do you want to create a material for the practical? Step one, do this. I'm not sure. There's no material for the practical, but you can always watch it, and then you can always watch it. Mabel, if you want to move the loader, won't it scatter? Okay, so if you want to move that loader, wow, I've already done like a control. Let me try to do a control Z. Let me see if it would. Let me see if my loader will come back. So if you want to move it, very, very simple. Just, select it and then frame it. Frame selection, and you can always move it to wherever you want to move it to. Can you see that? So frame selection, and then you can move it to where you want it to go. So that's that. I hope I've been able to answer all our questions. 1 minute more before we have a good night's rest. Yes, if you create a design for desktop, you can see it on desktop as well. So let's try, look at this. This design was created on desktop, and then you can click on this design, see it showing here, but you can change the screen. Yes, so let's change this screen to a desktop, or yes, this is a MacBook. So let's try. This is TV, but we don't want TV. Yes, we want desktop. So you can change it to a MacBook Air, and then you can continue checking out your design from there. See, you can scroll it. You can do whatever you want to do with it. All right, it's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock, and thank you very much. I hope we have learned something today. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for coming to class. Um, every time you work on your web whatever Figma has updated would always show on your web. So try checking your web. Just open Figma on your web and you'll see that those things are updated. Yes, but if you are using if you have downloaded Figma, just try to always update Figma to the latest version, and then you get every other updates. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Bumi. Thank you. Mabel, thank you. Ilori Olaoluwa, thank you. Arishe, thank you. Keep practicing, because if you don't continue with this design, you forget it all. So keep practicing. Beauty, thank you so much. Joy, thank you so much. And do have a lovely evening. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourself, everyone.